we? What are 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 we? Yeah. We are the children of the rainbow flag. We are cool, choose around and proud. No one's gonna stop us. We are here to stay. We are the cool choose of the rainbow flag. We are moving forward, moving on and on. Never going back. We are moving forward, moving on and on. Never going back. We keep fighting on and on. Never gonna stop. We keep fighting on and on. Never gonna stop. We are freedom fighters, fighting for the rise of the children of the rainbow flag. What are we fighting for? Fighting for our rights. What are we fighting for? What we fighting for? Fighting for our rights. LGBTI. We are here to stay. Oh, LGBTI. We are here to stay. Oh, LGBTI. We are here to stay. Oh, never going anywhere. The children of the rainbow flag. We are proud to be. Yes, the children of the rainbow flag. We are proud to be. Yeah, children of the rainbow flag. We are proud to be the children of the rainbow flag. LGBTI, we are the children of the rainbow flag. We are cool, choose around and proud. No one's gonna stop us. We are here to stay. We are the children of the rainbow flag. We are moving forward, moving on and on. Never going back. We are moving forward, moving on and on. Never going back. Oh, we keep on fighting. Fighting. We keep on fighting. Fighting on and on. Never gonna stop.
Yes. Welcome, my friends. It's been a long time. Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon. And YouTube decides to keep playing. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. I welcome you all to the Victor Mukasa show today. It's been a very, very long time, and I must tell you that it's been a very, very complicated period for me. It's been very tough, very personal, and so family. So, but at least I'm very thankful to the universe, to the higher power, that I am able to be here today. And so for that reason, we've not been having the Lest We Forget show that usually comes on Sunday. We've also not been having any episodes series from refugees, in particular Kakuma Camp, Block 13. So today is my first day up, and of course, the refugees, LGBT refugees in Kakuma Camp, and in particular Block 13, have been on my heart, and I've been struggling during the last 1.5 weeks, thinking about how you guys are doing. So Block 13, LGBT refugees, Kakuma Camp, I greet you, and I pray that what we are seeking, which is your safety and evacuation from the dangerous camp, actually comes soon. It disheartens me when I think of the fact that it's holiday time and everybody elsewhere in most places is excited about the holidays. And to think that there's a group of people who are actually in fear right now, thinking about any attack that might come their way tonight, tomorrow, or any other day. It is just so disheartening to think about the children on Block 13. All of you, women, men, it is just disheartening to think that while the world prepares for some kind of celebration, you are still stuck in a homophobic, highly dangerous, violent refugee camp where your fellow refugees actually are your attackers, homophobic refugees from different parts of Africa. Viewers out there and listeners on the podcast, LGBTQ refugees on Block 13 in Kakuma Camp have been under attack for quite a long time. In fact, other refugees within the camp, LGBT refugees, have also faced this. I must tell you that I remember the first attack that I engaged with and I started a campaign for was in 2014, when many refugees fled Uganda after the passing of the anti-homosexuality bill into Kenya. Some of them were taken to Kakuma Camp. And what we hear happening today to LGBT refugees in Kakuma Camp actually started happening in 2014. The same calls we are making to the UNHCR today to evacuate them are the same calls that we made in 2014. There've been attacks in 2015, in 2016, in 2017, in 2018, in 2019, now 2020. The question is, why would UNHCR keep taking LGBTQ refugees where it clearly sees that and knows and is aware that they are under attack by homophobic forces? The refugees themselves, but also service providers in the area, medical personnel, the police, the locals of the land, the Turkana land. One wonders why UNHCR will keep taking these refugees there. This campaign is for their immediate evacuation, which was supposed to be immediate in June 19th when they had a very huge, a mass brutal attack where over 30 of them were severely injured, where many of them are still ailing with the injuries from that day. But on top of that, there have been more injuries on their bodies, but definitely on their minds. At this very block we are talking about, we have already lost an infant refugee. September, we lost baby Patricia, COVID Nambiru. On this very block, we have had people undergoing surgery because of injuries that have been put on them by fellow refugees, with UNHCR aware of what is happening. In this camp, we have people who are going crazy because of the trauma that they are facing. I'm very thankful to the team of therapists, first responders, who have actually given their time to counsel and bring a smidge of sanity to the refugees at Block 13. I'm very thankful to those who continue to donate to the GoFundMe page that I set up for Block 13. The money that you actually contribute has done a lot for our siblings, for our friends and parents and children at Block 13. I'm thankful for all the advocates, all the human rights defenders that have engaged in this campaign. A special thank you goes to Babs Kane, Nancy, Monique, Tash, Helen, Dr. Miller, Rachel, Raquel. These are people from across the globe. These are people from Canada, US, Africa, and Europe, even Australia. Very thankful to groups in the US that have taken on this. This group has not been believed for a long time because UNHCR has spread misinformation in a language, simple language that I understand. They have spread lies about Block 13. They have downplayed their plight. They have referred to them as liars. They have referred to them as people who actually harm themselves, people who slice themselves, who rape themselves, who beat themselves up. This is what the UNHCR has spread. But still in that, the UNHCR has also spread misinformation that it has taken care of the situation in Block 13. We still have people who have never been approached by UNHCR after rape, after sexual harassment and assault, after their houses being burnt down by homophobic refugees, after death of their own child from homophobia, because as you know, the child who died at Block 13 actually had severe effects of tear gas that was sprayed on her at the UNHCR offices in Kakuma Camp. When she was 3 days old, she died at 4.5 months old. Yes, in brief, this is the situation of our people at Block 13 in Kakuma Camp. Kakuma Camp is not safe for LGBTQ refugees, and I call upon the whole world, advocates out there, to not give up, lest the UNHCR says we never told them. When something more grave happens, the blood that is flowing in Kakuma Camp when it comes to LGBTQ people is on UNHCR. We have had the most ridiculous statements from officials at the UNHCR, as we will hear in this update show. I have personally heard from a top UNHCR official in Geneva talking about how Block 13 members have actually lied about their situation, how they have actually orchestrated their attacks, how forensics show that they have cleanly and carefully cut themselves. I have heard that. A lot of us are facing threats for speaking out. They are LGBTQ refugee activists in Kakuma Camp that are facing threats for making this situation known. What does this mean? Something is being hidden from all of you. We have fellow activists believing the lies of UNHCR. We have a human rights community that is failing to carry out independent investigations in Kakuma Camp, virtually, because everything today happens virtually. That Kakuma Camp is so far away from civilization, and this COVID-19 That is no longer an excuse for us not to investigate. Today, there's telehealth. We are checked via the internet. Today, we are talking about this via the internet. Today, we are going to meet LGBTQ refugees in Kakuma Camp via the internet. They speak that which they are ready to stand for. The refugees in Kakuma Camp have stood up and have said, prove us wrong. UNHCR says they are lying, but UNHCR has not provided any evidence, including forensic evidence of how they have done this to themselves. Many are silent in Kakuma Camp because of threats from fellow human rights defenders and from UNHCR itself. I'm a victim of all that. I even have today Facebook requests from Kenyan officials of the police. So I will invite you all to meet our friends who I haven't hosted in a long time in Kakuma Camp. And right now I will bring Gilbert on in Kakuma Camp, and we will also be talking to the other refugees. I can see that Gilbert is active. I can hear you, Gilbert. I know it's dark in Kakuma, but we need some light over there.
Yes, I can hear you too.
I know Bashir is very good with that lighting. You might want to talk to him.
Yeah. In terms of lighting.
It is so good to see you. It's been a long time.
Yes, Victor, it's a pleasure too to have an opportunity to speak out. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome to the show and welcome to everybody that you come with. We have taken a long time without hearing about the situation over there in Block 13 here on the Victor Mukasa show. And I'm just wondering if you are up to giving us an update and if we can hear even some testimonies of abuse and violation of human rights in Kakuma Camp. Gilbert.
Thank you for welcoming me on the show, and thank you for welcoming those that are with me on the show. I think Kakuma and violations of human rights go hand in hand. It's hard to mention one without mentioning the other. When you mention one, the other one is not implied, it's explicitly stated.
Yes.
From the last time when you hosted me on your show, Kakuma has been the same. You know, Kakuma, when you couple it with the way UNHCR is behaving or the way they are responding, you have, exactly, you have an active volcano.
In fact, I call it inaction and misinformation.
The two go hand in hand because actually, perhaps we might have to change the inaction. They have been very active, only doing the wrong things.
I get. They've been busy, actually.
Very, very active because they have had an opportunity to speak to a lot of concerned individuals, concerned organizations, and they have missed the opportunity to present themselves as a humanitarian organization. They have rather approached the situation as a political institution where they engage in sort of meaningless debates, trying to win an argument with a refugee or a group of refugees that are under their care.
With the victim.
Exactly. Block 13 has not changed by much. The only difference is we have put up a shade. The rain has been making it extremely difficult at night.
Thanks to the donors.
Oh, thanks so much. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can show you at night, but I sent you some pictures. You probably could share that.
Yes, I will look for them.
That's the only difference. In terms of the dangers that we were exposed to, they are still there. In fact, every day I think we anger more people by staying around.
Yeah.
And in terms of attitude, I think UNHCR has fallen so far from, from grace. They are near grass. Because these days they are blatant. They're blatant about lies. When you talk of forensics, for example, forensics, you don't even have a hospital that has medication. You don't have a single dentist in Kakuma. And
actually, for me, the first time I heard about this forensics was in June, shortly after the mass attack on Block 13. From a top UN official, I heard a top UN official and one of their close ally in human rights dealing with Kakuma. This is where I first heard of this forensics story and how there's careful cutting and mutilation of cells and how people actually act, because if people are doing these things to themselves, I imagine they actually rape themselves. That's what it means. They actually burn their houses. They actually steal their own. It doesn't make sense. But
of course, it doesn't. You have a huge attack.
Yeah.
On the 19th, and on the 23rd, a UNHCR official in Geneva is saying that according to the forensics, these are clean made cuts. When did you do the forensics? You have not even had the opportunity to come and see us. Your hospitals have not even treated us. If you wanted to lie, you could have come up with a better lie. Like, COVID, which has become a weak excuse as well. But when you talk of forensics, come on, give us a break.
And in the same period, that is when we, shortly after that, we decided to mobilize the world to collect funds to buy medication and to take people to hospital. And, and then we had an allegation that the people at Block 13 are actually injecting themselves with a numbing elements so that they can cut themselves nicely without feeling pain. This is what you from those who should be protecting these victims.
That is what an institution that should be considered humanitarian is giving for an excuse.
So basically nothing has changed security-wise. Survive. No. Like what is happening right now since the last time you updated people?
What is happening is we still have patients to treat. We still have, life to keep. We cannot get protected from UNHCR. We need to survive on our own. And part of that survival is that we need, for example, counseling.
Yes.
To stay sane. There are a lot of suicidal, ideations here.
Yeah.
And you cannot be surprised at that. We are like, let me get an illustration that fits our situation. We are like an abused stepchild.
Yeah.
And now the abusing parent is the stepmother. Now, when the community comes out and says, oh, what's happening? Take that as a dad at home. When he's around, the abusive mother puts on a face and pretends to be caring. That is the face.
That's a perfect illustration of what this is.
That UNHCR presents to human rights organizations, to governments, to countries that inquire about the situation in Kakuma. Then once they have left those podiums, they come down here and tell refugees that, look, Gilbert and Block 13 have refused dialogue.
They tell the rest of the refugees at Block 13.
They have approached this situation, like what was happening in South Africa during the apartheid days.
Yes.
Divide and rule.
And turn them against each other.
Exactly. And this is what is happening right now. Now for UNHCR, it is a divide and silence. Because all they want is silence from here.
Yeah.
The only place among the LGBT settlements in Kakuma that has the guts to talk,
It's Block 13.
pardon me for using the word, but have the balls
That's
to actually
correct.
talk.
That's how you say it.
Now, after telling everybody that, look, this is okay, we are dealing with the situation, then they come and tell some of us that if you can keep silent, don't post anything on social media, be a good boy, be a good girl, we shall work on you.
Like work on you? What do they mean,
some,
work on you?
I don't know. It means they could actually have worked on us, but in a way they are retaliating because we have spoken out.
So they promise the others that they will work, take their process forward.
Exactly. A few others have been told to call a particular number and apologize to UNHCR.
UNHCR provided a number for people to call to apologize for speaking out and exposing the violations
of human rights,
the inaction of UNHCR. Gilbert, repeat this for me, please. Explain this for me, because I need even our viewers and listeners to actually hear this very clearly. You mean, let me hear it, what the UNHCR has done in that regard.
They have asked some people from Block 13 to do two things. One, shut up and be helped. Don't post, don't complain, don't say anything. And then call and apologize. So they record you apologizing, and now, because people are desperate to leave this hostile environment, some will take that up.
Yeah, and the number provided is provided by UNHCR.
Yes.
That's pathetic.
Absolutely, that's what I thought. Now, of course, if you're helping somebody because they have promised not to tell the world what is happening, it means the ones you're not protecting, you're deliberately withholding protection.
I'm not surprised at some behavior in Kakuma Camp, actually, now. It makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it's like an abusive mother. Why did you tell your father that you did not have lunch?
When actually you didn't have lunch.
Absolutely. You didn't have lunch. Daddy comes back, you tell him, Dad, I didn't have lunch. And your stepmother smiles, and when Daddy goes, you get chiboko, you get caned for saying you're hungry when you're hungry. So we are being punished, we are being left in this hostile environment because we have shown the world what is happening in Kakuma. Now, the whole thing of forensics is the most ridiculous thing that UNHCR could have come up with. First, get your hospitals even working, for example.
To treat typhoid.
Yes. You heard of Shifra when she went there and somebody was, putting something on her nose. I don't know if she was going to feed her. Yes.
And UNHCR is aware of this, and to date, they've not taken care of that. They've not checked to see what was happening.
Somebody is taken to hospital, having been attacked, set ablaze, he's disoriented. And when the medical officer realizes he's LGBTQ, he says he is mentally ill. With all the physical injuries that he has, all the doctor thinks of is how can he be gay? Diagnosis, he is mentally ill. Those are the people that are doing forensics? Surely, UNHCR. Those are your forensic officers? Come on. So, Victor, to go back to where we started.
Yeah.
They have talked about dialogue.
Yeah.
The only dialogues I have been fortunate to attend with UNHCR are actually 3. 2 of them, we were outside their compound in April. And we met them, I think, on 3 occasions, and they had one answer: go back to the community.
You can report that we are being attacked in the community. And UNHCR,
that is how UNHCR dialogues.
Go back to the community.
Go back. You go back. If you're not going back, we will make you. And they made us. That was the first dialogue we had. Then shortly after we came, they called us to tell us that they wanted us to go and talk to our attackers. Meet all those guys that have raped us, that have sliced us, that have harassed us at every opportunity. And when we said, come on, this is cruel, you cannot subject us to this. You have had these attacks from as way back as 2014. What is a dialogue with an oppressor going to change? Is the trauma that we have not enough that you must generate for us more trauma? Now they have presented that as a dialogue with them. Now this is one of the other lies now that is trending with them, that we have refused dialogue with UNHCR. I want to state this categorically on this show. UNHCR has not come to talk to us. On the 11th, when we were attacked by the Turkanas, a number of officials came from UNHCR. I saw a post from somebody who said a UNHCR official was chased. It is not true. The official that he mentioned in that post actually was the first to come, and then he called colleagues, and colleagues came. Among them was a psychologist who does, I think, their community liaison. Then there was also the head of security, of safety and I think protection. Somebody, Muhammad something. And when Muhammad came, he said, look, we understand the challenges you're going through, but that is for the protection side to take. There is no dialogue.
There is no dialogue.
They come to have some content for their statements. UNHCR backed out of a meeting that was supposed to have with them with Kenyan Human Rights Commission. You remember?
Yes, Kenyan Human Rights Commission was so willing. They invited us for a meeting, and then UNHCR said, oh no, we will not meet the refugees yet. Let's meet with you first. And that's when it died completely.
We were supposed to meet with them and Kenyan Human Rights Commission, and they claim we were not aware we were going to meet refugees. Who are you working for? Are refugees so abominable that you cannot sit with them and talk to them? Then how do you apply your charter that requires that you talk to refugees in designing interventions? So we are that repulsive that our lords could not stoop so low as to talking in a meeting where a refugee, a person of concern, a targeted LGBTQ would be present. UNHCR has never offered us a dialogue that is
They are refusing. They are refusing
to
talk to you, which is supposed to be the safe space for you to talk to somebody, and yet they are pushing you to talk and have dialogue and have tea with the rapist, with that one who set your house on fire, with that one who beat you up and cut your bodies up. But they're refusing you the safe space of protection.
Yes. You see, they are very crafty. When they are talking, they say, these people have refused dialogue, but they do not specify what kind of dialogue. There's never been a dialogue with them that they have proposed. The only dialogue was with our attackers. UNHCR, the dialogue with our attackers, we refused it. And we stand by our word.
I will refuse a dialogue with my rapist. I would be angry for anybody to even propose that I go and make peace with my rapist, who is hanging around and living a good life outside without anybody raising their finger.
Absolutely. Now, you're telling the attacked to apologize. I don't know whether for being refugees or for being in Kakuma or for being LGBTQ. I do not understand why they're apologizing. But secondly, you're telling us to go and meet the rapists, perhaps get on our knees and tell them, please stop raping us, stop attacking us. So what the hell is your job then? So if they really think that they can dialogue, we are willing to dialogue with them. In fact, we challenge them to a dialogue. The days of hiding and pretending we are, no. You see, they want to portray us as not normal human beings. Just because we are LGBTQ, we are unreasonable, we do not talk. No, we are very reasonable, we are decent people, and we can actually talk.
It is
These so-called human rights defenders that you meet and sit with them in Geneva, that you invite in your meetings here, even in Kakuma, they are not the ones that are being attacked. The ones they're getting reports from are actually living in comfortable seats in the US. Those are the ones that are reporting to UNHCR, who are coming up with stories of forensics. It's ridiculous. Are you aware, Victor, that I have been physically threatened by somebody who claims to be an activist living in the US? She calls me and tells me, I'm going to have you arrested. I'm going to make sure no embassy takes you.
I'm not surprised because I have witnessed some of these things. And in fact, even right now, they are working so hard to silence us. There are some who are working so hard to silence us by discrediting the processes that we are undertaking, just like they are discrediting the injuries on LGBT refugees. So it doesn't surprise me.
I'd like to offer some piece of advice to UNHCR. If anybody is in UNHCR and still cares about humanity, please listen carefully. Until you stop denying that there is homophobia and transphobia and to some extent xenophobia in Kakuma, you will not do your job.
Then deny it.
For until you leave denial, you will not help LGBTQ. There is no point in denying that there is homophobia in Kakuma. It's well documented, it's on record, and it's common knowledge by now. So quit the denial. If you're going to assist meaningfully, you need to join those that are condemning this vile practice of attacking people because of their sexuality. It doesn't matter if the culture here supports it. Somebody has to take the lead in showing those responsible that this is wrong. And until UNHCR takes sides with those that condemn homophobic attacks, they are not a humanitarian organization. Until they condemn the horrible things that people go through because of their sexuality. Until you remember that it is wrong, that we have, that everybody, whether sexually different, has a right to live, to life with dignity. This is within your charter. At the very, very minimum, you're supposed to protect life and accord it a measure of dignity. And you cannot do this for as long as you're protecting and covering
the perpetrator
attacks. Absolutely. But one question I would like UNHCR to answer is, why is it so important for you to deny that there is homophobia in Kakuma? What do you gain?
That is the question.
By portraying Kakuma as an all-embracing environment, when it is actually dangerous for some people. Why do you go to the extent of lying and protecting? What is in there for you that you're protecting?
When the same UNHCR has evacuated people from Kakuma camp because of the very reasons.
Absolutely. So what is it that they are losing by doing the right thing? How precious is that you're protecting, that you value it over the lives of the LGBTQ persons in Kakuma? That baffles me.
It does to me too.
It's so precious that you're willing to forget why refugees come to you. So until they stop denying that there are attacks in Kakuma, and these are targeted attacks on a minority group, we are wasting time, Victor. We are wasting time. And this is why I call on all human rights organizations. You show UNHCR the lead. Condemn them. Maybe they'll have the courage. I don't know what binds them.
And we are saying that UNHCR is misinforming them. Let them facilitate meetings between the refugees and UNHCR.
Victor, let me explain this. You see, UNHCR is saying we have refused the dialogue. Yes, we would gladly meet them and talk with them. But even then, that is a sign that they have failed to do their job.
There's all evidence that
they have instructions on how to do their job. We do not need a meeting for UNHCR to know that they need to protect people. We can have that meeting, but it will go on record as failure for them. You needed a reminder from suffering refugees after many months of operation. Even a dialogue at the very basic is failure on their part. It should not have come to this. And it does not even require dialogue.
Requires action, taking
Absolutely.
people out of danger.
Absolutely. So all this is a sign. These are visible signs of an empire that has lost its way in the name of UNHCR. You talk of dialogues. UNHCR is not known for that. It's known for protecting people, not exposing them. But if you want a dialogue, we'll meet you. But remember, people safety should come first.
Always.
For as long as you've not done that and you're issuing statements, you're calling for dialogues, you're so far from your calling. You're so far from your job. And that symbol of protection that you wear on your chests is a misrepresentation of who you are.
Wow, Gilbert, I know how much time is required to talk about UNHCR and this situation, because there's a lot that I feel that needs to even come out. But in the interest of time, I would like to, how is everybody there? Like, our beddings out already? Are people going to sleep? Are there people?
No, not yet.
Are they right here?
I'm seated under the
shed?
The shed. We have not made our beds, but you remember Sifa?
Yes, Sifa, one of the victims of multiple attacks.
Multiple, yes.
Yeah.
Remember she had a pass in her back and needed surgery?
Oh, yes. I know that we got her to hospital at some point and surgery after some treatment.
So why doesn't she give you the update herself?
That would be great.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Victor.
Does Sifa need a translation today, interpretation?
I could do that. I have no problem with that.
All right, thank you.
Oh.
Sifa.
Yes, Victor.
You are alive. You're still alive. Cambodia. It's good to have you here today.
Thank you.
What's happening, Sifa?
There's still the pain.
She still has the pain, she says.
Of course, you haven't got all the treatment you need.
Yeah. Okimanyi nalikolerwa surgery on Thursday.
December 2nd, I was reminded.
Yeah.
She was due for surgery, which she hasn't got yet.
Just tell our friends who are watching, why do you need a surgery? How did you get that wound on the back?
Zijukira the 19th July.
On the 19th of July?
This twali tugenda wano kumpi ne waka okutwala essimu kukyajja.
They were taking their phones with her, a few of her friends, for charging.
Esiikana abantu mu nkubo batandika otuyita shoga.
They met people who started shouting at them that you LGBTQ people.
Batugoberera ne batandika otulumbagana ne bantemera bansalirasalira awo.
They followed them at first and then eventually attacked them. That's when she sustained that deep cut in the back.
Bansala omugongo n'okugulu n'ekisambi.
They cut her deeply in the back and then on the thigh.
Paka kati from July paka ne kakati era ekiwundu tekinnaba kuwona.
Her wounds have never healed. In fact, they formed a lot of pus from July to date.
Ate ne UNHCR tebangayo netubuuza ki kyatutuukako yadde nakatono.
UNHCR would have helped, but they have never even asked the victims what happened that day.
But UNHCR said in a statement that they actually offered you counseling and, you know?
No. Anyway. No.
She vehemently says no, that she has never been approached by anybody from UNHCR or helped for that matter in a medical sense or otherwise.
Victor, nawe okimanyi paka kati gwe onyamba okufuna obujjanjabi okufuna treatment zonna.
She says, as you're aware, you're the only one that has come to her rescue, of course, plus those that have been contributing on the GoFundMe page. She has not had help from any other source apart from the GoFundMe page.
Now, friends out there and listeners, Sifa is a victim of multiple attacks. The day she's talking about, July 19th, there were 4 of them, 3 lesbian women and a minor who were sexually assaulted by homophobic refugees in Kakuma Camp. She is still ailing with those wounds. She needs surgery. And I know also that there are other refugees that we will talk to or you know, even if we don't talk to them, we know because we are following up on so many cases that are actually still ailing with injuries from multiple attacks. Sifa is one of them. Sifa.
Yes.
Are you also getting counseling?
No.
Okay. She has not yet started receiving counseling.
Okay. Nayenga kubeera mu being in Kakuma Camp, like I've been watching you talking about what is happening for a long time. How does it feel today? We are in December.
Ate nze kikyebaka kubanga tumanyi entalo zawano zibeerawo olumbanganyi bubeerawo mu guno omwezi mu December bata abantu ddala ate oluusi batusuubiza ffe bajja kusookera ku ffe ngoba abazemu okuta abantu basookera ku ffe.
She says she's especially worried because of the period we are in. She says there have been threats that they will attack us. Of course, there are always threats, Victor, that will be attacked in Block 13 and LGBTQ persons, wherever they may be found. And she says she no longer sleeps because she's worried all the time what she has gone through. Anybody would not have, she would not be in Kakuma right now. Remember, at one point she was even blind from an attack.
The big hit on her skull, right?
That blinded her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And according to the forensics, she hit herself.
Yeah, viewers and listeners, Sifa,
Hey.
June 19th.
Nze nejjuzi bangobera wana amavivi nga nziruka nga banzirusa amavivi gonna ne gakalabuka.
She says even recently they chased her with the intent of harming her, and she fell and she bruised her knees.
So the attacks are still happening, Sifa. Do you have any message to our viewers and listeners? Do you still have any messages to UNHCR? I know that you have cried out so much.
UNHCR tetumanyi olulimi ki bwe tugenda gibuulira. Tugibuulira ekimala. Kirabika baagala otutabuza.
She says she doesn't know which language she should use in asking UNHCR for evacuation. And she says it seems UNHCR just wants to see dead bodies here.
All right, Sifa, thank you so much for sharing with us today. Do you have anything else to share?
Yes, ndagala obuyambi Victor kubanga jjukira nafuna treatment. Obudde bwa surgery saagifuna. Kati birabika na missinga treatment ate endala n'atera okutuuka simanyi. Abampulira abangi.
She's asking for help. She got part of the treatment that was pre-surgery, but she was due for surgery on December 2nd, which she missed because of the funds. She's asking anybody who can help to help, so she can have her surgery and then the post-surgery treatment that was supposed to follow.
Okay, but Gilbert, I think that we need to talk more about that to see that she gets her treatment. Friends out there, we still need those resources. Please, if you can donate to us this season. We are not looking for Christmas trees or presents. We are looking for resources to treat people like Sifa and to provide the basic needs at Kakuma Refugee Camp. So Gilbert, we have a little that we can see if it can help with that surgery. And we will continue with our fundraiser for all the other needs that it would have covered.
Okay.
Yeah. See if I wish you the best, and I wish you safety all the way. And I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
Yes. Oh, Trinidad.
Yes, Victor.
Are you surviving today?
I'm trying.
I know it's been a very difficult 2 days, week.
Absolutely, it has been, but I'm trying.
I'm so sorry, Trinidad. Do you want to share with me and our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, of course, I've been trying to capture a bit of the stories you've been talking about with Gilbert.
Yes.
Only I wanted to highlight on one thing. That is about the dialogue and negotiations. Yes, UNHCR, I'm quite aware that it has been trying to document that we try to dialogue with us to make us sit with our tormentors in a dialogue. My one straight question goes to UNHCR. If you can be able to trace the people who are tormenting us for a dialogue, why can't you work hand in hand with police to apprehend them?
That's a very, very good question. UNHCR, that question is to you. Trinidad, please repeat that question to the UNHCR.
UNHCR says that they want us to sit down on a round table and dialogue with the people who are attacking us, who are tormenting us. My question goes to them. if they know those people whom they are willing to bring on that table such that you can dialogue with them, why can't they work hand in hand with the police to apprehend them?
That's a very good question to the UNHCR, and you made me think about something, Trinidad. If UNHCR is saying that they're willing, they want you to have a dialogue with your tormentors, meaning they know your tormentors, how come then they say that you're doing these things to yourselves when actually they know who is doing them?
Sounds ridiculous.
UNHCR, come on, please. Come on, UNHCR.
But again, I understand they're just trying to beat around the bush to bring all those sort of things because they have failed to do their work. They have failed to do their best to do out their mandate. Because, yeah, it's good, like you started it, like it hasn't been easy for me these last 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are to see dead bodies, people committing suicide, because overwhelming on us. We have to send our messages. We have made the loudest outcries, right from Kakuma sub office to Kenya UNHCR Kenya Nairobi to UNHCR Geneva. I wouldn't love someone to convince me that maybe Mr. Philip Grandi at the helm of UNHCR in Geneva isn't listening. Yet I'm aware in last week, he was just near here, near Kenya, near Kakuma Camp. It's not far from here. That means they are following each and everything, but probably they are staking us. And here I live my second question to UNHCR again. Are they going to take responsibility of any dead body at Block 13? If anyone dies, if anyone commits suicide, are they gonna take that responsibility? Because we are just tired of these things that hurrying to make documents, to write documents. This doesn't help us, doesn't help anyone. Instead of coming to do action. Right from April, we asked UNHCR. Of course, they were using that excuse of COVID-19. And I understand COVID is a pandemic, a world pandemic that is affecting each and everybody. But we went ahead to tell UNHCR, gazette any press in Kakuma, provide security, let it be protected. We shall be there because we are after our lives. That's primarily, it's our lives. It's about our lives. It's not about anything. UNHCR said that can't happen. Wow. The bad thing is that the person who gave out an order, who denied us our right to ask for protection, to seek for protection from a humanitarian organization like UNHCR, I heard her contract was terminated or wasn't renewed. But I don't know what kind of shame Madame Elod went with after seeing young kids, women, and men, all innocent, being tormented by the Kenyan National Police and the Kenyan military right in their compound. I don't know if she sits somewhere and tries to think, to rewind her minds back to that incident, because it's so unfortunate.
Yeah. Yes, it even led to the death of a child.
Of course. And I call upon to Mr. Philip Grandi, because I'm also aware that his contract was renewed up to 2023, maybe.
Oh, he's staying? I thought he was
Yeah.
ending this.
I saw him tweeting, happily tweeting that he has been voted again to take on UNHCR. I don't know if they were thanking him for what is happening here, for his silence.
Well,
Victor,
with him.
life isn't okay at Block 13.
As a human rights defender yourself, have you, I have received a lot of direct and indirect threats for what I am doing right now. Have you been threatened in any way for speaking out?
Victor, some two months back ago, I received a phone call. It was a private number, telling me that if I continued writing or speaking against the silence of UNHCR, I'm likely to be killed. It was a phone call to me. Someone trying to force me to back down because my writings exposed them.
I'm not surprised. It's a tactic they're using now, and actually they're even using people amongst you to make sure that you remain silent. And they've also tried to do the same, including discrediting what I do, you know, in all ways. But I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not surprised that you have received threats yourselves.
If UNHCR was really living to their mandate, they wouldn't be having any reason to come cause maybe division, divide and rule. That's why unfortunate a world humanitarian organization in the caliber of UNHCR.
It's just so disheartening to hear that people are being bribed to make reports that they are actually okay.
As far as I'm concerned, when you try to move some few meters from Block 13, they'll hang some big posts that say no to bribes by UNHCR.
Because
but right now,
financial bribe, maybe they have some financial bribes, but the fact that people are supposed to report on a hotline that they're okay, what is the intention of that? Is it to make a statement that, look here, we have 100 people who have said we are not okay, taking advantage of very vulnerable people?
Of course, that's what they are trying to discredit each and everything we are trying to do. But nonetheless, Victor, if 100 have reported that they are okay, even if 10 haven't reported and they are not okay, does it mean that they should die?
Well, if people are reporting they're okay, the refugees that have continued to report that they are not okay, they have evidence of these reports, then they'll get, or they should, they should, and UNHCR, they must be evacuated, because even with manipulation, they will not back down for their trust for protection.
Every life matters, even if it's one. It's UNHCR's mandate to protect that life. But so pathetic, bribing someone to call on a hotline, saying I'm by names of this and this, I'm okay.
Yeah, I see that somebody's saying threatenings or threats are going on at Block 13 to those who came out to speak out. How, you're being threatened by homophobic refugees, and then you're getting also threats from outside, from, those who should be protecting you, using your fellow victims. That is really pathetic. Bashir, thank you. Wavamuno, thank you for being here. Nomsa, Duke Soka, Umar, Uncle Collins, Parfois d'Amour, Rocky Biden, Ann Smith, Ziad, Ben Sassi, Lunko Kathleen, I see you. You are here. Jasek, everybody online today, we thank you so much. And thank you for the comments that you are sharing with us. Keep sharing those comments. Yes, Trinidad. Trinidad, I know that. I mean, I won't talk about your specific threat right now, which I'm aware of. And I will not talk about your specific challenge right now, but I send you strength. I think about you a lot. I have read the updates, and I feel you. I have been there in that situation where your fellow victims are used by those who should protect or the perpetrators to harass you. I have been there, and I'm not surprised at the reports that we are getting about the plans on us, on the defenders that are defending you, and also you who are defending others. All we can do is to remain strong and stick to the truth. Bobby Wine says in his song, Bobby Wine, Ugandan presidential candidate, most popular, that if you stand for the truth, be ready to stand alone. And I think that those of you who are choosing to stand for the truth, be aware that you could stand alone at some point. But it pays off when we speak to the truth, and we speak the truth and stand for the truth. One day, UNHCR, you will tell the truth about Block 30.
Sure.
We might be threatened right now. We might be discredited. Propaganda is going on. But we shall not step off the truth. Thank you, Trinidad. You are a very brave person. And as one of the leaders at Block 13, please say something to our viewers, and then we can see if we have somebody else. Your last word to our viewers. Also, when are you having the next colors?
Probably I can inbox you tonight.
Okay, Trinidad has a program called Colors in the Rainbow.
Struggles in the Colors.
What is that?
Struggles in the Colors.
Struggles in the Colors. This program actually comes on late in the night when guys are sleeping at Block 13. You can see them and their life in the night, which is really dangerous. You would not believe what you have to look at. And it comes up, I think, twice a month.
Yeah, twice a month.
But now twice a month. Please look out for the adverts for Struggles in the Colors. It is a program by Trinidad Jerry for Block 13 in Kakuma Camp. The truth about what is happening at the block and day-to-day life, you know, like day-to-day life, how people live their lives, how people spend the night. It is by Trinidad, and we will be advertising the next one heavily on our Facebook pages. Thank you so much, Trinidad.
Thank you, Victor. And I thank each and every person tuning on right now and who is trying to help Block 13, who is trying to amplify the voices of Block 13. Well, you're doing a great job, and you're empowering each and every person, even the vulnerable kid at Block 13.
I can hear that.
Yeah. And our GoFundMe page still goes on. I strongly believe we are still alive because of that GoFundMe page.
Yeah, the GoFundMe page started off with a target for 5,000. We keep increasing it because the refugees are still in the camp. That money that has been donated on the GoFundMe page, friends, is money that we use as it comes in. We use it as it comes in. That sometimes the page shows that 13,000 has been raised over 15,000, but yet we do not have any money because we use it as it comes in. And when it's not there, we can't do anything. But we request you, please find it in your heart to donate or redonate to the GoFundMe page. for Block 13 in Kakuma Camp, the link of which you will find on my Facebook page. Trinidad, post the link and let others at Block 13 post that link.
Okay, Victor.
Thank you very much. Is Gilbert still around?
Thank you too, Gilbert.
Yes, Gilbert. Thank you for bringing those friends and my siblings online today. I can see that the situation is still the same.
It is, Victor. Thank you for the platform, and thank you for all the help for the mobilization work that you do.
I commend the job that you do as a leader at Block 13, as a human rights defender, and all the teammates that you work with. You are doing an amazing job, and you have exhibited that you can stand for yourselves, because some of us fall down sometimes, like I fell down for a week and a half for very personal reasons. I have seen Block 13 still putting on that fight. We will keep fighting until change happens, the change that we are looking for.
Thank you, Victor.
Strength and love and peace and safety vibes.
Thank you. And we thank everybody that tuned in and all those that have been able to make a change in our lives here.
Thank you, Gilbert. We'll continue. Yes, friends, thank you so much again for coming to the Victor Mukasa Show and our listeners on the Victor Mukasa Show podcast. Unfortunately, you cannot see the videos, but yes, we are still doing the campaign for, calling for the evacuation of Block 13 LGBTQ refugees in Kakuma Camp that are facing attacks. On this note, I will thank our therapists that are doing an amazing job of counseling. We are hearing more cases of suicide ideations at Block 13, and we request for more of your help. For the donors out there, those who haven't never donated to the Block 13 Kakuma Camp, please, we ask you to donate. Accountability you receive. It is always put there on the GoFundMe page. We already gave a very detailed accountability, but we have the periodics that we will post. I have many that have been sent from Block 13, but I haven't been well to post those small accountabilities per fortnight, and I'll be putting them on very soon. Please continue to donate. This is a very difficult period for LGBTQ refugees in Kakuma Camp, and we need to stand with them. I thank you first, most importantly, members of Block 13 who have decided to stand for the truth, painful as it is, threatening as it is, with all the forces that are fighting against you. When you have decided to stand for this, you are not only standing for yourselves, but you're standing for any young person out there in Africa who might be a victim of homophobia and will find themselves in Kenya and in Kakuma Camp. Maybe things will have changed because of your voice today. Maybe Kakuma Camp will be cut off for LGBT refugees because it can never be safe. And who knows that UNHCR might do something amazing one of these days. You know, it is because of your voice that we continue to stand. It is because of your strength, and we wish you more strength and safety. Most importantly, love and light upon your lives. Friends, the Victor Mukasa Show has been off air because I haven't been well in so many aspects, but we are back. And we are back with the truth and standing for the truth. UNHCR, Kenya, Kakuma, and in Geneva, please listen to the cries of suffering LGBTQ refugees in Kakuma Camp. Dr. Filippo Grandi in Geneva and other officials in Geneva, please listen to LGBTQ refugees suffering in Kakuma Camp. They are not safe there. You have been made aware, but we continue to make you aware of their insecurity and need for protection, and that is by taking them out of the dangerous Kakuma camp, which is highly homophobic and transphobic, as you already know. I thank you, our viewers. Thank you for always supporting us. Thanks for always being here. And you listeners on the podcast show, thank you so much for the support that you give us over there. Adios. See you very soon this week.